So hello and welcome to Mixologist, the place on the internet thingy where even the experts sometimes get a little bit confused. Case in point with this marine unit here, I mean, to tell you a story, I went on the internet, made a purchase as I generally do, but I noticed this carb when I bought it. I thought this was a 600 CFM carb, but it turns out that it isn't a 600 CFM carb. I'll go a bit later in the video and I'll try to kind of get some insight from the manual. Unfortunately, I couldn't find this specific part, but I'll show you what I think are the things that are odd about this carb that you can't see them on other kind of normal carbs. Okay, so as you can see, this unit here, what this unit is, it's really a, if you look at the base plates here, this is really a 750 or 715 CFM base plate, and not only that, it has got a 50cc accelerator pump installed in here, which it's rare because a lot of the features that you've got in this carb, so and by the way, I believe this is a genuine 750 by the size of the Venturis here, so I haven't got an issue with that, but generally I would expect those features to be accompanied by a center hung cathedral style fuel bowl, but in this case it actually isn't. They have kind of your like it would call bog standard side hung fuel bowls, so that's, you know, a bit weird. So obviously I just bought it for, you know, for pennies to rebuild, but obviously somebody's gonna get a really rare carb to rebuild. So now let's look a bit at the manual. Unfortunately, the manual that I've got doesn't go to this list number, which is 5470, but I got 5464 in here, and it says Ford, which is, this is a Ford carb, so I think we're on the right track, and 4 Marine 460 engine, so it is entirely conceivable that this is a Ford big block Marine carb due to the capacity, the 750 CFM. So I think this is a very rare carb. So what I'm going to do now is I'm going to start the disassembly process, which has some particularities which I'm going to show you, because some of the parts are stuck, so therefore you need to be a little bit careful when you are disassembling them. Okay, so the first thing I'm going to do here is I'm going to take off this accelerator pump due to the fact that this arm is stuck. So it's very important to try to free the pump separately from the base plate so that this can be taken without breaking the base plate, which can happen if you force this piece too much. So I'm now ready to start working on the base plate. Okay, so now that we got the base plate separate, I can see that the secondary shaft is frozen, which is not surprising given that it's a marine carb. So let's have a look. Fuel balls are actually not too bad. Okay, so I'm not going to lie to you, there was a little bit of violence involved in getting this part freed up from the base plate, and this is due to the following. Before I explain that, let me bring you a bit close. Hopefully you can see you can see it there. You can see that this part is bent. If I put this sort of straight edge there, you can see this part is all bent. And what happens with this is that it's quite a lot of metal in there. So when this corrodes inside of here, it's very difficult to get it loose. So what I had to do is I had to put this on a vise and just hammer it out like this, because if not, this part has the potential to break off the base plate. And this is about knowing which bits you can hammer kind of to your heart's content and which bits are delicate and you need to be really careful. This is one of those. The 50cc pumps on these things, you need to be very careful. So when you assemble them back, you need to lube them very carefully so that they can spin freely, in a sense. The other weird thing about this carb is that this has a 65 power valve, which again, I've reason to believe this is the original power valve that came with this carb, and because this carb hasn't been disassembled before, you've got this still remnant of gasket, as you can see here. I hate the Holley gaskets, the originals. But this 6.5, this I have every reason to believe that this is the original power valve that came with the carb. So therefore, that will be the origin. That will be a power valve that's gonna go once I manage to, you know, get it, you know, nice and rebuilt. So I mean, now what I'm going to do is I'm gonna move on to the kind of cleaning aspect of the carb. But this is kind of a couple of important things probably to say at this point is, number one, when you disassemble the carb and you realize that it is original, always take note of the parts and the specs, because that's going to help you when you come to reassemble it. And the other one is, and this comes with experience, know which bits you can hammer out violently and which ones you need to treat with like silk gloves. Anyway, let's move on and let's start trying to get this stuff a bit more cleaner than what it actually is. Okay, so it's been a couple of days since I last worked on this carb, but what I want to do now is I want to give you a very important tip. When remember that before what I said is that I was going to replace this pivot for this pump arm, the 50cc pump. Well, now when that happens, invariably you are going to have to kind of reset this arm and do a bit of finagling for it to fit properly in the carb. And as you can see here, this carb is, well, I'm in the process of rebuilding it, but the metering block is not done. I haven't done anything. This fuel bowl is completely empty. This has only 2 bolts holding it. But this is what you have to do to make sure that when you assemble the carb and you put in the accelerator pump, for example, I can see straight away that this is not going to work because the pump, let me bring it a bit closer. So if you see here, basically the pump is the arm is depressing the pump about halfway down, thereabouts. I mean, this is not fully kind of installed, but and this is the problem why I say this, because if we take this off like this should be around there more or less. So this means that I'm gonna have to bend this a little bit up so I can have the pump kind of in a proper relationship, like thereabouts, give or take. Okay, so now I've got it dialed in just where I want it. Look at the amount of travel this accelerator pump has. It's crazy the amount of fuel that must go into an engine when this thing pumps. But anyway, so now what I need to do is I need to start building up this unit. Okay, so as you can see now, this unit is now fully assembled, in the sense that we've got, you know, obviously vacuum secondary, the choke, the J pipes which go here, so everything is kind of ready, but it isn't. Why? Because I need to paint it, because marine carbs, they need to be painted, and that's why I generally don't tend to bother too much with the outside finish of the carb, because all of this is going to be painted. So and now what I need to do is I need to mask it all up, get it ready for paint it, and then I'll show you the final result of the carb, in a sense. Okay, so here's the finished product in all its glory. As with every marine carb, it needs to be painted to protect from the water. Oh look, I just forgot to take off this little bits here, this little bits of masking tape. But apart from this, this unit is really like ready to go. And so now what I need to do, it's now the only thing left is to just take some pictures of the item, pack it and get it ready for shipment. So I want to say thank you for watching this episode. If you've got any questions or comments, please put it down in the comments. I really enjoyed kind of rescuing this unit. This was a very, very rare unit in terms of its configuration. I've never seen it, so I'm glad that I could, you know, rescue it, and it will live another day to, you know, go and live in someone else's boat and be of use again. So that's all good. So thank you very much, and I'll see you in the next episode.